In a sunny little town, there lived a cheerful boy named Veer. Veer's family was well to do, and Veer always had the finest things: a shiny new cricket bat, a kite of real silk, and his pockets forever full of sweets and toffees to share. And because of this, Veer was never short of company. Wherever he went, a whole crowd of boys flocked around him, laughing at his jokes and praising everything he did. And the loudest and the closest of all was a boy named Mohit.
Oh, Veer, you are the best friend in the whole world. What a wonderful bat. What a splendid kite. There is no one half so clever or so generous as you, my dear Veer. Dear Veer.
And Veer, who had a good and trusting heart, believed every word and thought Mohit the truest friend a boy could have. Now there was another boy named Sameer who was also Veer's friend, but Sameer was quiet and rather poor, and he did not flatter or fuss. He never asked Veer for sweets. He simply liked Veer for himself and would share his own small lunch and listen when Veer spoke and help him quietly whenever he could. And because Sameer made so little noise about it, Veer hardly noticed him at all, there in the shadow of the loud and laughing Mohit. But then, one day, everything changed. A great misfortune fell upon Veer's family. His father's business failed, all in a single season. The fine house had to be sold, the shiny bat, the silken kite, all were gone. The family moved to a tiny rented room at the poor end of town, and now there were no sweets in Veer's pockets at all, only patches on his clothes. And oh, how quickly things changed. The very next morning, Veer went, as always, to find his friends. There was Mohit in the middle of the laughing crowd. But when Veer came near, Mohit looked him up and down at his patched clothes and his empty hands, and he gave a little sniff and turned up his nose.
Why, it is poor little Veer. We do not play with your sort any more. Run along now. Be off.
And he turned his back and would not say one more word. Poor Veer, he stood quite alone with the laughter of his old friends ringing crudely in his ears. He walked home slowly, with a great lump in his throat, feeling more lonely and more wretched than he had ever felt in all his life. So that was all his friendship had been worth, he thought bitterly. But Veer was wrong about that, for he was not quite friendless after all. That very evening there came a soft knock upon the door of the tiny rented room, and who should it be, standing there in the fading light, but quiet Sameer. Sameer came in, and he sat down beside his unhappy friend, and he took his hand.
I heard what happened, Veer. I came as soon as I could. I'm so very sorry for your troubles.
And from his pocket, Sameer drew out a small cloth bundle and opened it. Inside were 2 warm rotis, his own dinner, carefully wrapped.
I have brought us something to share. It is not much, but Amma always says that troubles are lighter when they are shared between friends.
But Sameer, I have nothing now. No bat, no kite, no sweets. Nothing at all to give you. Why have you come?
And Sameer looked at him, puzzled, as though Veer had said a very strange thing indeed.
Why? What does that matter? I'm not your friend because of your bat, or your kite, or your sweets. Well, your sweets, Veer, I never was. I'm your friend because of you. And you are still you, are you not, whether you are rich or poor? A friend is a friend in good times and bad, especially in bad.
And at those words, all Veer's loneliness melted clean away, and he understood at last the difference between the 2 kinds of friends he had known. Mohit and all the laughing crowd had been friends only of his sweets and his fine things, ready to vanish the moment those were gone. But Sameer, quiet, faithful Sameer, was a friend of his very heart. The two boys shared the warm rotis there in the little room, and they talked and laughed long into the evening. And Veer felt rich again, richer, in a way, than he had ever felt with all his toys. And in the years that came after, Veer's family worked hard, and slowly their fortunes mended. But Veer never forgot that evening, and he never again mistook flattery for friendship. Sameer remained his dearest friend all his life long, and Veer himself grew up to be the kind of friend that Sameer had been to him, the kind who stays. So remember, dear children, do not be dazzled by those who praise you only when your hands are full. True friends do not come for what you have, they come for who you are, and a friend who stands beside you in your darkest hour is worth more than 1,000 who cheer you only in the sunshine. This is today's story. We'll meet again in another interesting story.